I know, Noah. I apologize. But hey, everybody, welcome back to Young Engineers of Today. Um, Hope you had a good weekend, and I hope you're ready for more of me talking at you. We're going to move on to an entirely different subject from ancient engineering. Now we're going to move on to a more modern version of engineering. This is going to be CAD. Um, Hopefully you guys should find this pretty interesting. This is CAD software is something that a lot of modern engineers use, pretty much most modern engineers use. Certainly when we're referring to structural or mechanical engineering, even electrical engineering, if you're designing electronics and things like that. So it's a very big part of the lives of modern engineers. So the getting more familiar with it now, actually, will do a lot to helping you out in the future, um, or at least being exposed to it now so that you know what it is and you can have some sort of experience with it will certainly help out in the future as well. But yeah, so that's what we're going to spend the next few sessions on. We're going to be talking about 3D design specifically, which is a particular brand of CAD software. But we'll be going over basically how to work with it and doing everything like that. But this lesson's all going to be essentially about an overview of CAD design, and then downloading the software, making an account, and getting started. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to get started today. We're at the very least going to be able to go over CAD software, download 3D design, and make an account. We might be able to poke around in it initially, before we run out of time today, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, 3D design is a free, powerful, yet simple 3D creation and editing tool which supports many new 3D printers. That is to say, it's a 3D design software that you can then send stuff to your 3D printer on and print stuff out. 3D design is known as a CAD program, and I've been saying CAD a few different times. But what does CAD stand for? Well, CAD stands for computer-aided design or computer-assisted design, depending upon who you ask. Essentially, it's just a means of creating a model using a computer, as you can see here, like a 3D model of a gear and motor set for a couple of wheels, or a 3D model of a chess set, or a quadcopter body, or robot legs, or a robot arm. CAD, or computer-aided design, is used in many industries to model and test a potential design in 3 dimensions. So when we say many industries, who might use it? Well, the automotive industry, the aerospace industry, the manufacturing industry, graphics design, students, and a lot more. I mean, CAD is used in a whole lot of different things. But yeah, definitely the automotive and aerospace industries are used to design more or less every aspect of whatever they're making before they actually make it, including parts and sometimes the overall design of the vehicle. The manufacturing industry for machinery and things that are going to be manufactured, like their actual product. There are more free-form versions of CAD software that graphics designers will use. So people who make 3D models for video games and movies and just whatever else could potentially need a 3D model. It's a good way for students to expose themselves to the sort of the world of CAD software, I guess, and also it can be very very useful for projects you might be working on, like if you need to make something for like a woodworking class, or if you need to make something for some sort of maker class or something like that, you can use CAD software in order to design it beforehand. And so many others, structural engineers, naval engineers, nuclear parts for, nuclear reactors and things like that. Like really the list goes on. Learning a CAD program is like learning a new language. So each program uses different inputs to achieve a similar goal. That is to say, if you wanted to make a sphere, most CAD programs, there's like a sphere drawing tool, although some of them will require you to draw a circle in 2D and then project it into 3D. Some of them you will be able to draw a sphere in 3D right out of the bat. Some of them you'll input, mathematical equations in order to create a three-dimensional sphere. As opposed to a two-dimensional sphere, I don't know, in order to create a sphere. So programs can vary pretty wildly. To be able to do these things. However, proficiency at one CAD program can make it easier to learn others. Even though they're all very different, being in that mindset of this is how I should, create something, like at this point I should create something like this. And, I want to make this design, it might be better to create like a cylinder and then cut holes out of the cylinder in order to achieve my desired shape, versus not being able really to know where you should start in order to create a design, that kind of thing. We're going to be using 123D Design. It's free and it's easy to learn and use. So it's a good starting point, for CAD programs and for getting yourself familiar with CAD programs and for understanding how exactly CAD programs work and for being able to make something on your own. And let me just go ahead and do a search for 123D Design on Google, and I can bring up the website link. I'll go ahead and drop it into the chat box. Boom. So just go ahead and follow that link in order to get to 123D Design's website. And then obviously you're going to want to download the one that's relevant to your, operating system, so either PC or Mac, unless, you guys are working off of an iPad, which would be kind of surprising if you've been doing a lot of the stuff in this class off of an iPad. You may be listening to the presentation on an iPad, but doing it on an iPad is an entirely different thing. So yeah, I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to download that, and we'll continue from there. Just go ahead and raise your hand once you've gotten it downloaded. If you're not sure, the safer bet is generally the 32-bit software. But if you're running Windows 10, 64-bit should be fine. And then it says it's not available. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh. Um. It's currently not available in the US store. For the Mac download or the iPad download, or Okay, that does complicate things. I'll have to think on that for a minute. I'll also send a text to Mr. Dubik and see if we have a solution in the meantime. We might. How many of you are running Macintosh computers? Show of hands. 4 hands. Okay. All right. So you guys basically aren't going to be able to download the software. Do you have a PC, like a Windows machine, that you would be able to? All right, 5 hands. Okay. Do you have a Windows machine that you maybe would be able to borrow for these lessons? Because if not, that's more or less a full third of our class that can't run the software. Are you currently testing it on Windows? Okay. Right. Well, that was for the people who are running it on Mac, but that's good. Oh, you're on Windows and it had an error. What was the error, Liam? Oh, you downloaded it? Okay, excellent. Okay, but it's still running? Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's good, Reed. Trying to get in on an iPad. Okay. The thing says it's going to take at least 30 minutes. It keeps jumping around, but 30 is about the lowest. Is that a problem? Um, no, not really. Extract error writing to file qtgui 80 or add 4. Let me try installing mine again and see if I run into the same issue. That's fair. It might have been the download messed up too. Sometimes if you experience like a hitch in your network or something like that, or if the download. Uh, yeah, but we'll get to that in a minute, Jacob. Yours is installing. All right. Yours is already downloaded. Well, then you shouldn't have to worry about it. Excellent. I mean, you might want to, like, if you already have an account and everything like that, you can start it up and see if there's a new version that needs to be downloaded. But um, otherwise, I wouldn't sweat it. 123D Design R2.2 Win64 2.214.exe could not be installed or downloaded. Try the 32-bit, Liam. Because do you actually have a Celeron processor, or were you just messing with me? You actually do? Yeah, definitely try the 32-bit then. Because I think the last Celeron processor that came out was 2011, which is right on the cusp of 32 and 64-bit, like the transition. Better PC soon. Well, there you go. At least that. Nice read. But in the meantime, yeah, you might want to try the 32-bit installer. It's going to say that naturally. Nice, Jacob. Yeah, good old Windows Defender. That's pretty awesome, though. Do you know, are you picking out the parts, or is it going to be like a pre-built computer or something like that? Nice. Awesome. That's what this is. This is a custom-built computer, but with parts that are like 3 years old at this point. A 32-bit won't even run? That doesn't even make any sense. What is the Windows Defender preventing you from being able to run it, or is it just like crashing as soon as it starts, or what? Windows XP. All right then. It couldn't be extracted properly. Whew. Okay. Um. All right. Current OS. Wow. Current OS is Windows XP. Couldn't be extracted properly. All right. But it's not a zip file, it's an installer. Unless the 32-bit is a zip file. No, that's also an exe. Yeah. Um, when you right-click on that exe, it couldn't extract the downloadable files in it. So it started up and started to run the installer, and it said it couldn't extract the downloadable files. Am I correct in saying that? No, it just won't run. See, it should at least be getting to the point. Hmm. Ah. It says the publisher needs to update it. Update I'm guessing the certificate or something like that on it. Good Lord. Well, I should mention that this was abandoned by Autodesk. So this explains a lot. It's amazing how quickly it came out of date, though. All right, let me ponder on this too, because maybe there's some sort of workaround or something like that that we can use in the meantime to get it at least up and running. My PC doesn't even reach the minimum requirements. Yep. Yeah, I see. All right, glad to hear that, Tate. Do you have another computer that could potentially run it, Liam? Hmm. Except a Chromebook. Ah, gotcha. It's installing now on your PC? All right, glad to hear it, Benkai. And an old Ubuntu 10.04 server. Yeah, no, that won't really do the trick either. Unless you can remote into the Ubuntu server, install Wine on it. It satisfies the requirements in order to run this, so you put this on there and run it through Wine. So then you're remoted into a server that's running Ubuntu and then emulating it, in which case you'll get about like maybe 5 frames per second. Hmm. I'm not sure we can do much to get around the requirements. The fact that the App Store doesn't contain it anymore also puts a huge damper on things. Oh, and your wallpaper just went black. Yes. Drawing glitches are always good. I'm trying to think of what else we did as far as lessons are concerned this semester. Have we just done the ancient engineering? Last year we did, or last semester we did Scratch. There wasn't much in the way of stuff that we downloaded, right? Oh, Google Sites, right, right. So I'm trying to think like, what what else have we asked you guys to download and run? Inkscape? I think Inkscape was a thing we did. Not the installer. It's gone forever. All right, that's probably for the best. Um, I'm assuming you don't have an iPad either, Liam. Okay, figured as much. Like not, yeah, I figured that. Considering the Linux server and the and your visceral response to the mention of Apple, I figured as much. Um, nah, nah, I don't think that's a because it's too small to work on, or the iPhone's too small to work with it. Whoa, that beautiful minimalistic source engine. Oh wait, SketchUp. Let me research SketchUp as a possibility. Uh, hopefully that'll be. Let's see here. Hmm. Oh, you're in? Okay, excellent. We might swap over to SketchUp anyway. So we'll see. This might be just sort of a moot class. Hmm. What operating system are you running, Liam? Like, what version? Windows 10? Okay. Okay, so you might be able to run SketchUp. The minimum requirement is a 1 gigahertz processor and 4 gigs of RAM. It also requires a 3D class video card with 512 megabytes of memory or higher, 2 gigabytes of RAM. Oh, hmm. Right. I was thinking that maybe a dedicated or a not a dedicated integrated graphics driver might still be enough, despite what they're saying for the minimum hardware. All right, excellent, Jacob. Um, you might not be able to run this one either. Well, it's worth a try. Give it a try, because I think we're going to migrate to SketchUp on Wednesday, just so we can have everybody participating. Hopefully, that should be doable. Well, I might need to speak with Mr. Dubik and spend some time in between now and Wednesday figuring out a solution so that we can at least have something that everybody can do. Because that's important, you know. Having everybody being able to participate in this is definitely necessary. And for those of you who spent the time downloading 123D Design, I do apologize. Yeah, not going to build a PC until February 12th. Yeah, that's gonna complicate things a little bit. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Actually, I'm just saying that that's something that might happen, Jacob. Just so you guys are aware, I don't necessarily want you to change anything quite yet, because that may not actually be a solution for us um, for Wednesday. If it is, then I'll direct you guys one way or another on Wednesday. Either way, I'll tell you guys what's going on Wednesday. We can either continue with 123D Design, which I don't anticipate is going to happen, but maybe, or we might go the route of SketchUp, or we might go in a completely different direction and revisit um, CAD programs at a later point in the semester. So at this point, there are like a million different directions we could go in right now. So I don't necessarily want you guys to get rid of 123D Design quite yet. I know that's not exactly a helpful answer, but um, sometimes life throws curveballs at you, and you just got to figure out how to adjust from there. And so we want to keep as flexible as possible. So we'll keep 123D Design in your computers until we decide that we're definitely not going to go in that direction. Know what I'm saying? got a text file instead of an exe. Okay. So you did the, now you got an exe. Okay, so it's probably an unfinished download. There you go. Try running the exe, see if that works. We still got hope. I've got my fingers crossed. An exe is short for an executable. That's a type of Windows file that allows you, it's a program in Windows essentially. And that's been sort of the standard for file is corrupt. Okay, tell you what, Liam. I want you to try downloading SketchUp and 123D Design when we're not in class. Basically just free up as much of your bandwidth as possible. I don't think that that's necessarily the case, but I mean, stranger things have happened. So, hopefully that will help determine one way or another. And then go ahead and just email me either a yes or a no, like it worked or it didn't work at that address as soon as possible, please. So I can speak with Mr. Dubik and we can figure out how to go forward from here. All right, so I know we had a short class last week. I think we're going to have a short one this week, just because, like I said, fully a third to half of the class is having an issue with 123D Design right now. And we kind of need that to be up and running in order to continue with it. I know, I'm sorry, Noah. I'm sorry to everybody else. I'm sure that's probably disappointing. Or maybe you're just like, oh, thank goodness, I'm sick of hearing this guy talk. No, don't be. I mean, it happens, It's something we gotta figure out, It's kind of it's a challenge. That's what life is full of. It's full of challenges and figuring out how to work around them. In the meantime, just so we have all of our options open, why don't you guys go ahead and download SketchUp if you have the space for it. If you don't have the space for it, you know what, go ahead and get rid of 123D Design. If you do have the space to keep both, go ahead and install both on there just so we can try and keep our options open. Hopefully we can at least continue with SketchUp. If that doesn't work, well, we'll just have to figure out what we're going to do for Wednesday. And it'll be interesting. But like I said, life is full of challenges, and this is just another one that we gotta figure out and work around. Hey. Yeah. Actually, the link should be in the chat box. If you go ahead and click on the most recent link that I provided, it should be for SketchUp Make, which should be the free version of SketchUp. And then you just fill it out with your email address, like what you're going to be using it for. In this case, educational use. And then put in your email address. You can even say, personal projects and put in your email address, and then just uncheck the send me SketchUp news and tips unless you really want those. And then, put in an interest or whatever. Either way, you want SketchUp Make, which is the free version. They only have, that's right, you need SketchUp 2015 in order to in order to run a 32-bit SketchUp program. All right, well, I'll speak with Mr. Dubik about it. In the meantime, why don't you guys go ahead and get that stuff downloaded. Yeah, that's true, you do. All right. I got to spend some time figuring this out. In the meantime, Liam, if you could ask, I don't know, family members, really close friends, somebody, if they have like a laptop or something like that that you could borrow, that would be helpful. For anybody else that's running into issues with that, go ahead and try and explore that sort of option as well. Oh, hey, there you go. That should be cool. Um, See if you can't accelerate that deal a little bit by Wednesday. Um, and then, yeah, so give SketchUp a try. Hopefully we can get SketchUp up and running for everybody. The requirements are similar, but they should be, this is not defunct, so that should help. But yes, we're going to go ahead and do that. For now, though, I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, sign off because we don't have much more progress we can make today. Again, I apologize that this was slow and not exactly great, but hopefully we can get to the really interesting stuff on Wednesday. Get started on that, learn about SketchUp, do fun things. But yeah, have a good one, everybody. Have a good couple of days. Take it easy, and we'll see you on Wednesday.